Hello everyone, my name is Ishan Jolly. I'm a Twitch streamer and voice actor, and welcome to my video where I'm going over the best microphone I have ever used, the Lewitt LCT 1040. With all of Lewitt's microphones, they always have something after the number, like the 440 Pure or the 540 Subzero, and that always makes me want to say something like the Lewitt LCT 1040 Pro, but it hasn't got a word afterwards, so it always makes me want to because of Lewitt's naming scheme, but yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Random rambling. But yeah, out of every single microphone I have ever used in my entire life, or career, or whatever, this is by far my favorite. Like, if I had to give a quick top 5, I'd probably say, like, the LCT 1040, the MKH 416, the 540 Subzero, RE320, AKG C414 XL2. That's off the very top of my head. And the RE320 is just because of the dynamicness. It like rejects background noise. It's better for like broadcasting. Even though I use this for broadcasting, doesn't really matter. But yeah, I would say those are my top 5 microphones in about that order. I think XL2 can go before the RE320, but just the RE320 is just got to throw a dynamic microphone in there because that's a really nice dynamic microphone for quite cheap price. Anyways, right. So this here is the Lewitt LCT 1040. And it is such a phenomenal microphone. Like there are a lot of great microphones out there with great sound quality. Like the MKH 416 sounds phenomenal, right? But that's just it. It just has that one sound, one pickup pattern. That's it, right? You just get the sound. That's nothing else. Here, look at all these knobs. Look at this. It's like you get so many polar patterns. You can flip the like switch so that the background becomes the front of the microphone and you can flip it around. That kind of cool stuff. So the tube on the front can be facing the camera, which I do sometimes for fun. You can switch between a FET signal and a tube signal. You can have 4 different tubes, basically tube circuit, tube sounds. You can have high pass filters. You can have attenuation. I don't think I'd ever touch, like personally, I'd never touch this. And very rarely would I touch this. And I like to leave this at a super cardioid for most things. Like, I would say if I'm singing, I would move it to a regular cardioid to get more of the sort of room tone and like liveness and reverb and echo. But for most voiceover scenarios, I would use this. Because the thing is, singing into an MKH 416 sounds weird. Like, I don't know what it is, but when you try and like mix with a condenser microphone, like a large diaphragm condenser, compared to like a MKH shotgun microphone with singing, it works. It sounds weird sometimes. I don't know if it's just me, because I don't actually know how to mix a song. I just do it for fun sometimes, when I'm making like effects and such on my live stream, like sound alerts and all that. That's the only reason I'd ever mix a song. But it sounds weird. It's more difficult to do with a shotgun microphone, at least to me. But like, you look at all this different stuff you get. Like right now, you've been hearing me on the clear mode, which is like Lewitt's sort of, this is how the tube sounds at its optimum, like the most perfect, the clearest, all that sort of stuff, right? But then there's 4 different other options. Well, no, there's 4 options total. This is the first one on the tube, right? So the clear setting is just the perfect tube. And this is what it sounds like. This is like Lewitt's intended sound. Sounds like how you'd expect a Lewitt microphone to sound. Very modern, very bright, very nice sounding, very clear. Not too much mud or anything. And yeah, this is how the clear sound sounds on my voice. And now we have moved over to the warm setting. And the warm setting, kind of reminds me of like a U87 sound. Like how the U87Ai doesn't have that much sort of sparkle in the upper end. This doesn't have that much sparkle in the upper end either. It just has like a very nice neutral sort of sound profile throughout all the frequencies. And this is also really good. Like the warm style also sounds really good. I don't have too many use cases for it. So far in my workflow, I use Clear for like say voice acting and voiceover, and I like to use saturated. That's my personal favorite for like live stream because it's a bit like more edgy sounding. But actually, no, I'll cover that when we get to it. No need to spoil what I use it for right now. But yeah, this is what the warm sounds like, and it just gives me that sort of like same vibe the U87 does, where it doesn't have very much sibilance. It doesn't have very much like sharpness and like sparkliness that the clear would have, which is like up to you, because I'm not saying those are bad things, right? I really like those things in microphones, but it's so nice that you have the option to switch between the two. And yeah, this is how the warm sound sounds like. And now we are on the dark setting, and this is like kind of reminiscent of something like a SM7B to me, honestly. Because the SM7B, if you look at a frequency graph of the SM7B in the treble region, it just goes whoom, it just scoops it all out. Kind of the same way how this does that, where the treble is heavily, heavily tamed, so the microphone doesn't have any high end. So it is less articulate and less sort of sparkly, and it won't cut through a mix as well, but it does tame harsh sounds. And I don't exactly feel like making harsh sounds right now. I always feel really silly when I do that. But like, this is still really good because you have it as an option. Like, off the top of my mind, something like, I don't actually know what I would go with. I'm not a musician, right? I'm a voice actor. But maybe like an electric guitar or a drum, right? Like, I'm just thinking, spitballing, like you'd have like some sizzle, like if you hit the cymbal or whatever, it has that like sort of sizzle sound. This wouldn't pick up like that sizzle, but it will pick up the rest of the sound that then you can EQ later. Same with electric guitar, has that sort of like sizzle on the strings. I don't know what I'm talking about exactly, but I'm just trying to think of where you could use this this thing. But it sounds kind of cool because it's got like that sort of it does make my voice sound like very mature compared to the other ones, right? Because like, well, I'm 22. I don't think I sound that mature, but in my headphones using this style, it makes me sound like I'm like a full-on radio announcer from a while ago. I don't know how to describe this. An old-timey radio guy. I don't know. I do feel like I sound more mature with this on. And now my personal favorite for like broadcasting, saturated. So saturated basically is like, so when I had the Camden Audio EC1, that cream circuit, the saturated is basically that, right? It basically adds a tiny bit of harmonic distortion into the microphone signal just to make it more like interesting and like a bit more edgy, and like I personally really like it because it just sounds interesting, right? Like so many microphones, like a lot of people love the Neumann TLM 103 or the Rode NT1, because like if you look at their frequency responses, they're very flat and just have a small treble boost for a bit more presence. And sure, like that's cool. People can like that. I don't mind. I don't like those microphones that much because they sound boring to me. Like those frequency responses are too clean, too clinical, too like sort of that and that, you know? Which is why I prefer like the Lewitt style of microphones, which are more creative in their sound. Like they don't have the sort of, it's super flat in this range and then it has this peak in this range that like a Neumann microphone follows, right? It's got a different itch. I don't know, it's more creative sounding to me. And I know some people disagree. Some people like really like heavily go that way, and I don't know. But I like this sound. It's just more interesting. And like it brings out the bass and the mids and the treble in like really cool, interesting ways that just makes the sound edgier. And I'm running out of words to say, and I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But dude, I love the saturated sound for say like my live streams and such. Like it's not like as clear as like the clear style or any of the other styles. Didn't touch anything, did I? But yeah, it's not as clear as all this other stuff. Like not as intelligible, but it just sounds cool to me. I don't know. Right, but yeah, like then now back to the clear setting so you can hear how it was at the beginning of the thing. And yeah, this is just how it sounds. Brilliant. And let's switch over to the FET circuit. So the FET circuit is like probably the cleanest sounding signal that this microphone has. Like, so now we go here, and it's just got that typical sort of Lewitt sound. Like, this is like what you'd expect, like a 540 Subzero, like the most optimum version of a 540 Subzero would sound like, right? Like, it's like going from, say, like a TLM 103 to a U87. It's like that level of quality jump from like a 540 Subzero to the 1040 FET. But you get all these other options, right? It's just so good. I don't know. I love this microphone so much. It would be cool if they just had like another one, which just makes it sound like a MKH 416 and just really brings that sort of like voice forward. Which, I mean, it still does, right? I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just the MKH 416 has a really interesting thing that like every microphone sounds like a voice, and the MKH 416 sounds like the voice like kind of squished and like pushed forwards. And this sounds really weird, like like it's doing this with the voice because of how it works in a shotgun pattern to pick up the voice. It like brings it forward and like, I have no idea how to describe this. But like when I was switching between this one and the MKH, it was like that sounded like this, and this sounded like this. Like this sounded the whole voice, and that sounded like the voice doing this. I don't know, it's weird, but that's how I would describe it. Right, so there we go. That is all of these things here on this side of the microphone. Now let me just demonstrate these things as well, because like why not? So right now I've been speaking with the microphone completely linear on the high pass filter, but hey, I can demonstrate how it sounds. Now I've engaged the 40 Hz high pass filter, and this is how the microphone sounds like when it is like kind of cutting out frequencies from, what's the word, below 40 Hz. And now the same thing, but with an 80 Hz high pass filter. And now I can definitely hear it. With the 40 Hz high pass filter, I couldn't really hear it, but the 80 Hz, I definitely hear it taking out bits of my voice. And I mean, that's fair, like, because that's what it's there for, right? It takes out the frequencies below that. Like, I wouldn't use it, but hey, it's there because most people's voices don't go as low as mine. So if you can cut it out and it doesn't affect your voice, do it, because it's removing information you don't need, and anything background noise or anything in that frequency you won't need, it's gone. It's not there. You don't have to worry about it. So it's useful. And then the same thing at 120 Hz. This makes it sound like quite a bit thinner in my ears. Like I'm even looking at the waveform. Like I don't know how to read waveforms exactly. I'm pretty sure that the high frequencies at the top part of the waveform, and then the low frequencies at the bottom part of the waveform. And I can just see like when I'm engaging these switches, the waveform is just slowly like going up. It's confusing. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I could put a screenshot of what the waveform looks like somewhere. Well, I could probably do this really quick. Let's see, add display capture. Okay, and then monitor 2. Yeah, this is what it looks like. You can see it kind of going up a bit. You can see this little thing where it just went up here. You can't see my mouse, but at the very end, it goes up a little bit. Oh, right, here. Like, you see this little bit up like that? That's what it looks like. Right? So it's kind of cool how to see how it works frequency-wise. But there we go. That's 120 Hz. And now back to linear. And wow, okay. When you switch from 120 Hz high-pass filter to no high-pass filter, you can just hear that, like, the bottom end of your voice really come in. And, oh, dude, that's cool. And the attenuation, do I need to demonstrate it? It'll just make me quieter. Like, you can see the operational thing. So as, this is actually really nice because microphones take time to adjust to things like this. So when I was demonstrating, like, the AKG C414, I didn't know it took that long. And at the first time I was like, wait, why am I not quieter? Then I waited 30 seconds, then I was quieter. And I had to re-record that section because I was so confused by it. But now I know, like when you attenuate the microphone, it takes a bit of time to adjust to it. So yeah, this is with a -6, blah, 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 -12. It's going to get quieter and quieter as you can hear my voice go lower and lower and lower. And this is how it sounds, wonderful, etc. And then the same thing with -24. At this point, can you even hear me anymore? Yeah, that's so quiet. Anyway, so am I back to full volume? Question mark. Let's see. Operational marker. Hello. Hi. There we go. Okay. And you know what? Let's just go back to the tube setting because I think that's cool. This is cool that this is kind of instantaneous, right? Like it just comes back and you can just do this and like you don't have to wait for it like you would with the attenuation, right? And you also have to wait with the polar patterns. So if I'm to switch to bidirectional, I'm going to have to wait for this operational switch to say that it's ready, which is fine. Same thing that's on the AKG microphone that I had the multiple polar patterns on. I just didn't know, and I was like switching between them. I had to wait, and I was like, wait, why is this? Yeah, it was already confusing. So now it's in bidirectional mode. So in bidirectional mode, like it's got the most proximity effect. So when I get... So when I get nice and close on the microphone, that's peaking heavily. When I get nice and close on the microphone. Yeah, I can't demonstrate that without it peaking. Whoops. That's fine. But like, bidirectional has like a really heavy proximity effect. As like the further you go this way, like counterclockwise, the less proximity effect you get on this microphone. Or like in general, that's like how polar patterns work. So bidirectional, it's the same from the front and back. Like if I speak here, and if I speak here, that was clipping. Whoops, sorry, my bad. But yeah, I do notice like what I'm gonna do in editing, just to let you guys know, is I will put a hard limiter at -4 decibels and then boost the audio back up, because like most of the dialogue, well, like all the dialogue is below -4 decibels. It's only when it's like the peaking moment I'll just hard limit it there and bring it up, just to let you guys know when I'm normalizing the audio later. But yeah, so this is bidirectional. I don't know. ASMR, it's like it'll pick up from here, it'll pick up from here, blah, blah, blah. I could rotate this, actually. The cool thing about this microphone is that you can rotate it, like in the shock mount. So bidirectional from the front, bidirectional from the side. Wow, that is dead. Bidirectional from the back. So, okay, that is dead sounding from the sides. Like, I could not hear myself from my headphones there at all. Well, I could, but like from like echoes in my room. And then bidirectional again. Okay, that's quite impressive. Just saying. Right, so that's bidirectional. And now back to supercardioid, which is the... Wait. Okay, so I don't know if you can... There you go. I don't know if you can see, but I've got this little boom arm right here that I've got like a really old like 720p 30 fps webcam from like 12 years ago. Just hanging on that, because I just like fished it out of like a drawer and I was like, hey, I can use this. Because right now I'm using the Sony ZV-E10 with the Sigma 56 1.4 lens. Looks amazing on me. But then we have the Logitech C270 for this. And I didn't notice how big my hands are sometimes. Like, I don't notice until like sometimes I send pictures to people holding like stuff and they're like, wow, your hands are huge. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, right. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Right, so supercardioid, right. So the microphone from the front, and this is how it sounds. The microphone from the side, and this is how it sounds. The microphone from the back, and this is how it sounds. Microphone from the other side, and this is how it sounds. Probably be easier. It'll probably be easy if I remove the pop filter for this test. Sorry for the explosives. I guess it's a good test, actually. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So there we go. That's how it sounds. And now let's just wait for this to happen so we can switch into cardioid mode. And here we have the cardioid polar pattern. It'll be picking up in like this sort of shape, whereas the supercardioid is picking up in that sort of shape. And like if I speak here and if I speak here, like the audio sounds pretty much the same. So like if you're not too like careful, if you don't want to fixate on like mic placement, like this one, the cardioid or wide cardioid will suit you the best if you're going to be moving around the microphone a lot. But I don't really move that much, or if I do, I move the microphone with me. So yeah, this is cardioid. Cardioid from the front, cardioid from the back, from the side, cardioid from the back, and then cardioid from the other side. And there we go. So anyway, like, by the way, if you can see here, right, you can see how it works. Because like this, it's the back and the front. Here, it's the front with a tiny bit of the back, but the front is a lot tighter, right? Here, it's none at the back, but like all the way around the sides, almost. Here, it's like kind of like a D shape, almost. Right, where there's a lot less from the back, but like a way more around the sides. Like heart shape and then a D shape. Like if you just kind of notice the differences, it's like it's just how much the microphone picks up from the back as well. Like the further you go this way, it picks up the back and front. The further you go to this side, it picks up the back and front more often. And the further you go to this side, well, except for this, it picks all around. But the further you go to here, the more it picks up in like a D shape in front. Like wide around the front, So it's like a big D shape in front with these polar patterns, or like a sharp sort of line shape like this. Wide D or YD, that sounds so sus. Damn it, what's wrong with me? I'm just trying to explain these polar patterns, goddamn. Anyway, so that's a cardioid. And now we just gotta wait for the operational thing. Which is so cool that now we have an indicator that this thing's ready, right? With other microphones, you don't know. Or maybe you do and I'm just too stupid, I didn't figure out. But here we are, now it's on the wide cardioid mode. And then the wide cardioid from the front. And then I'm slowly spinning the microphone around while still talking. And then you can kind of hear it sort of tail off. And then you can hear me a lot less from the back. And then as I go back to the front and do this and spin it some more. And there we go. And now I'm back at the front. And that is the wide cardioid. And then finally we'll be going off to the omnidirectional polar pattern. And this is how it's going to sound. So let's go. Right, so omnidirectional polar pattern. So as I spin the microphone around, it shouldn't really change too much in sound characteristic. Obviously, like the sides are going to be less sensitive than the like front or back because of like, you know, these things there. And the fact that the capsule is like, you can see the capsule right there, right? It's like front and back sort of thing. Have I twisted the microphone too much? I've ended up with the back being facing me. Facing you guys, actually. I mean, the front facing you guys and the back facing me. You know, I twisted it too much. Let's lock it in like this, and I'll show you guys this really cool feature. Okay, I'll set it back to like sort of supercardioid. I'll put the pop filter back on, and so this happened once in my live stream, right? I'm talking a lot louder to like so you can hear the echoes back of my voice. This once happened on my live stream, and I was like, why does my microphone sound garbage? And then I flipped the switch because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to do this, right? I forgot to flick the switch. And then as I was talking, it was slowly changing, and it was just like, yo, that sounded smooth. Everyone was like, damn, dude, that sounds smooth, bro. So yeah, why does it look wonky now? I think it might just be the camera angle. Oh well, whatever. I think it's just the camera angle and the mic is slightly tilted. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's just, it looks wonky on camera. There we go. That should be alright. Anyway, doesn't matter. See, now I switched it out, and you don't, it's not really, the quality of the microphone is the same forwards and back, right? Like, I'm assuming that the sound quality is the same forward and back. It doesn't sound any different to me. And yeah, it's kind of cool that, like, either side of the capsule picks up audio in all these different ways, and you can switch these around, and it's so cool, and it's interesting how it does it, right? I find it really cool. But yeah, so that is all the little things on the Lewitt LCT 1040. And now I will be comparing it to a bunch of other microphones. But I'll just say like a phrase real quick. And then I will just say that phrase on every microphone because I'm lazy. And it's a lot easier to do that. Especially because I have to like get a new... Oh, it's going to be a lot of effort because this uses like a cable... Well, it goes into the Go XLR, my audio interface, with a XLR cable, but I'm using a really short XLR cable because they're right next to each other. This is fine, actually, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so, let me just find a phrase real quick. Like a fun phrase I can say. Okay, first off, the Lewitt LCT 1040 in the clear tube voicing. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure is its own reward. The LCT 1040 in the warm voicing. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the process is its own reward. LCT 1040 in the dark voicing. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the process is its own reward. LCT 1040 Saturated Voicing. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. LCT 1040 FET Circuit. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Right, so that's the Lewitt LCT 1040 with all these different things. And now comparing microphones. Behringer XM8500. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Blue Ember. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Shure SM58. The most difficult thing is a decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Neat King B. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Electrovoice RE320. The most difficult thing is a decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Warm Audio WA14. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is mere tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. LCT 540 Subzero. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Sennheiser MKH 416. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process is its own reward. Alright, so there we go. That is all of the microphones against the Lewitt LCT 1040. Right now, we're finishing off the review in the saturated preset on tube, supercardioid, linear, high pass filter, and zero attenuation. And there we go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and it helps you decide if you want to purchase this microphone or not. Because the thing is this microphone is very, very expensive. But when it comes to expensive microphones, I would say this one is worth it. Because the thing is, it's like, oh, I got mine used for about $2,100. I'm pretty sure it's close to 25 to 3,000 pounds wise. So it's more expensive here than the U87Ai. But like for you Americans who are lucky like that, it's the same price, I'm pretty sure, as the U87Ai. And I think this run laps around the U87Ai. The U87Ai is a boring sounding microphone in my opinion. And if you want that sort of sound, set this microphone to warm. Whoops, I knocked the webcam. Set this microphone to warm, and it's 99%, it's close enough, it's got the same sort of sound. Like, obviously it's not going to sound the same, but it achieves the same sort of result, where the microphone isn't too bright, isn't too dark, it's kind of very neutral sound. And that's just what it is, right? But this microphone comes with so many other options, and that just makes it so so good that I just really, really like this one. But there you guys go. For an expensive microphone, this is definitely the best one, and this is the best microphone I've ever used. I would still say the MKH 416 beats the U87. I would say the AKG C414 XL2 beats the U87. LCT 540 Subzero, I'd rather use that over U87. There are so many microphones I'd rather use over U87Ai because, first off, like if we're counting the price, obviously, if it cost the same as like a Lewitt, then I mean, I wouldn't use it still. I don't like the sound that much. I prefer the Lewitt sound. But still, right? Like, I mean, I made this video like a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that where I compared the MXL Genesis FET to the U87Ai. And it's just like, I just threw those two microphones together. I was like, one stream, I used that microphone, the U87, and the next live stream, I used the MXL Genesis, which was like a lot cheap. I got it for like £100, 120, 150 pounds, secondhand from somewhere. I don't know. But it's a really good microphone. Don't have it anymore. I sold it. I kind of regret sending it. I don't know why. But yeah, like, it's like, I like the cheap microphone more because the expensive microphone is made to be super neutral and to be adjusted in post. But like, for everything I do, the cheap microphone was just more interesting sounding to me. And that's the thing. For me, I like microphones that sound interesting, that have character to it. Some people go for super smooth, super like clean sounding microphones, and that works too. The TLM 103, the U87Ai, they work. That just works, yeah? That's it. Go for them. But I don't like that. I think it sounds boring, in my opinion. Especially because, like, most of my thing is live streaming, right? So, like, at least most of my time spent is live streaming. I voice act from time to time, and I earn most of my money from voice acting. But live streaming is something I'm way more passionate about, so something that sounds interesting beats something that sounds super clean and smooth and all that sort of stuff. But right, that's enough rambling from me. This video is 32 minutes already, and I haven't even filmed the, like, comparisons yet. So, editing is going to be a great, fun experience. But yes, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed this and it helped you out. And yeah, I stream almost every day at about 6 p.m. UK time. My schedule might change, but right now it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 6 p.m. UK time. That's my current schedule. Maybe due to change. We don't know yet, but that's what it is as of this video. I'm not that consistent with it. But yes, if you guys wish to hang out with me live, I'm over on Twitch a lot of the time, and I love hanging out and just talking and chilling and vibing, playing games, all that sort of stuff. So I'd appreciate a follow and you guys checking me out over there. But yes, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys all for watching this video. See you all later, and goodbye.